You're not going to believe how fast the vibes shift in today. 1 minute, Foxborough feels like it's finally locking into playoff mode. And the next, there's a single moment that has every Patriots fan doing that nervous refresh on their phone. And that's the thing about January. It's not just about who's better. It's about who's more violent at the point of attack, who can stay balanced when the game gets ugly, and who can survive the one scary storyline that shows up out of nowhere. Be honest. Do you trust the Patriot way when the pressure spikes like this? Now look, yesterday's 16-3 win over the Chargers wasn't just a win. It was a statement you could feel. And the guy who turned the Chargers' backfield into a miserable place to live was K'Lavon Chaisson. But the real story isn't just the name, it's the intent. For stretches, it looked like the Patriots were playing chess and a street fight at the same time. The front didn't wait around for the play to develop. They attacked. They decided Justin Herbert wasn't getting comfortable at all. 11 quarterback hits, 6 sacks. That's not a fluke night. That's a defense showing up with a plan and a temperament. And here's the detail that makes it even colder. The Patriots went into the week knowing Herbert was dealing with an issue on his left hand. So the emphasis wasn't only get him down. It was go after the football. Chaisson said it straight. Any chance you get, you attack the ball and try to get it out. When he finally got his moment in the fourth quarter, he didn't waste it. Strip sack, ball on the turf, Gillette roaring, and the whole league getting the message. Think about what that means in a playoff setting. If this pass rush is playing with that kind of purpose, quarterbacks feel it before they even take the field. But it doesn't work unless the back end does its job. Chaisson gave credit to the DBs for buying those extra beats in coverage, because when receivers are locked up, that's when the rush gets to finish. And it wasn't just Chaisson. Milton Williams was a problem inside too. Robert Spillane, seeing it up close from linebacker depth, couldn't hide how fired up he was about what those guys did in the trenches. Big situations, big time plays. So the question is real. Was that a one-night peak, or did the Patriots just find their playoff formula? And if you think that's the most your brain has to process today, nah. Because while Foxborough was celebrating a defense that hits, thinks, and intimidates, the cameras in another stadium caught a moment that Patriots fans can't stop talking about. Let me say this. We've been chasing a true WR1 for years. That's not opinion, that's reality. And for a long time, the Patriots have been tied to big-name receiver rumors, especially A.J. Brown. The connection goes back to 2019 when Bill Belichick almost drafted him. But it got even louder with Mike Vrabel in the building, because Vrabel was the Titans head coach when Brown got traded to Philadelphia, and he didn't want that trade to happen. He wanted to build the offense around him. He didn't get his way. Fast forward to now, and you've got a moment on a playoff sideline that just poured gas on everything. Right before halftime of the Eagles' wildcard game against the 49ers, Fox cameras caught A.J. Brown in a heated shouting match with Nick Sirianni. And I know, teams will always say everything's fine. The locker room is great. Everybody loves everybody. But if everything's fine, does that moment happen like that? Now pull it back to New England. Drake May is the future, but no future survives without real help outside. You need a receiver who wins one-on-one, who forces coverage adjustments, who turns third and long into something you can actually live with. A.J. Brown does that. And the Vrabel angle matters. Familiarity, respect, that direct no-nonsense style. Those things aren't fluff. They're how big moves become possible. Is it going to be cheap? No. It would likely cost premium picks. Maybe a young player. But be honest. What's the point of sitting on assets forever when you've got a quarterback developing and a window starting to form? The 2026 schedule already looks like it's going to be a grind. Either you build the offense now or you accept the pain later. And here's the quiet piece nobody wants to say out loud. The Eagles could get tired of the noise. Even if there's no trade demand, constant drama wears on teams, especially teams trying to win. If Philly ever decides to turn the page, the Patriots have to be ready. because opportunities like that don't knock twice. But while everybody's stuck in rumor season mode, there was something on the field that's just as important for this playoff run, because it changes how the Patriots can win games right now. Here's the thing, it wasn't a deep shot. It wasn't a quarterback highlight day. It was balance. It was control. It was the kind of offense that actually travels in January. Ramondre Stevenson is back to being the gravitational center of this unit, and that matters more than most people realize. Against the Chargers, Stevenson put up 128 all-purpose yards, and if you just glance at the box score, you'll go, nice game. But when you break it down, it gets nastier. He ran for 53 yards on only 10 carries, and then he killed them as a receiver. 75 yards catching passes, punishing linebackers and safeties in space. Second and short, third and long, checkdowns under pressure. He was always there, always physical, always moving chains. That changes everything for Drake May. He didn't have to be the hero throwing lasers all night. He won with decision-making and with his legs. 66 rushing yards on 10 carries, and a bunch of those came at the exact moments defenses get too greedy. And that's the chess match. Defenses respect Stevenson, they start squeezing the box, they start closing windows. And then May takes off when the look is right. Simple. Deadly. Over the last 4 games, Stevenson has been on a run. 332 rushing yards, 15 catches for 206 yards, and 6 touchdowns. 6. That's production from a guy who shows up when the calendar gets mean. Vrabel said it plainly. The offense wasn't one-dimensional. They found yards on first down. They took care of the football. They played the kind of brand that keeps you alive in the postseason. And don't sleep on the backfield partner here. Tre'Veon Henderson being part of that rotation keeps the tempo up and keeps bodies fresh. It's not about splitting spotlight. It's about staying unpredictable. With that duo, the Patriots don't have to ask May to throw 50 times and pray. They can control the clock. They can quiet a road stadium. They can dictate the kind of game this roster is built to win. Stevenson even explained it like it's no big deal. Discipline, reads, being where he's supposed to be. That sounds simple, but that's exactly what separates teams that keep playing from teams packing up. And then, right when it felt like the night couldn't get any better, the whole mood flipped on one play. Christian Gonzalez was doing what he's been doing, erasing people. Every receiver he matched up with basically disappeared from the game plan. And when one of those guys is Ladd McConkey, that's not just good coverage, that's elite. Gonzalez was in full Pro Bowl mode, calm, technical, relentless. Until late in the game, after a great pass breakup, he looked shaken up. He headed to the blue medical tent, he was ruled questionable, and he never came back. In the moment, the score was under control, but everybody's mind went to the same place. If that's serious, if it's a head injury and the protocol becomes a thing, losing Gonzalez heading into the divisional round is the kind of problem that changes the entire defense. Because if there's one piece you can't afford to lose right now, it's him. We've seen it before. When Gonzalez missed time earlier in the season, the secondary looked different in a bad way. Communication issues, stress on the rest of the coverage, and fans immediately started yelling for insurance, even throwing Stephon Gilmore's name around. The staff held the line and waited for Gonzalez to get cleared. That patience made sense then. In the playoffs, you don't always have that luxury. And it's not just about one corner. It's the domino effect. If Gonzalez is out, you're giving opponents a target. You're asking other defensive backs to take matchups they weren't supposed to take. You might have to tilt safety help, which changes how aggressive you can be up front. And suddenly, that pass rush dominance you just watched can get harder to reproduce. Carlton Davis III is usually the guy opposite Gonzalez, but he had a rough night physically too. So the options start getting uncomfortable. Activating Alex Austin from injured reserve, reshuffling roles, hiding matchups, changing responsibilities. Can it work? Maybe, but that's not the ideal way to live in January. So right now, the best case scenario is simple. It was a scare, not a setback. And Gonzalez is ready when the Patriots need him most. The tough part is we probably won't know anything definitive until later in the week. Until then, it's patience and that very specific kind of anxiety that only Patriots fans understand. Bottom line, this was one of those days that tells you exactly what a team is when the postseason starts. A defense that hits with purpose, an offense that can stay balanced when the passing game isn't lighting up the scoreboard. A massive name swirling in the background that could change the ceiling of this entire attack. And one injury situation that could swing everything depending on what the week brings. Now I want your take, Patriots Nation. Are we actually built to make a real playoff run? Or is there still one missing piece that decides how far this goes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're riding with this team, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and stay locked in. Because this week is going to have something new every single day.